I don't at all blame myself for not doing it, because end of stream fatigue is very much real. And I can't possibly... the longer I play, the more likely I become to make mistakes. There's this kind of appeal to win streaking in Spire that I do really appreciate. But in order to have the flawless execution required to do that over large periods of time, you almost have to be monk-like in your approach. At a certain point, performing well in Spire requires being well rested and mentally focused and well fed, to the point where playing only one run per day, or even half of a run per day, would be ideal, and then you return to it almost ritualistically, prepared anew. Interesting to think about. We have an elite snipe here, looking at the map. Survey says maybe a burning elite, but it's pretty iffy here. I do not think it would be very likely that we would be able to get this burning elite for free. I'm much more inclined to transform 2 here as the defect. And I would transform 2 strikes and see what happens. I think that could go very well, especially with the 7 max health downside. I think is very reasonable. All runs are beautiful, even the ones that lose. Even the ones that are made seat of your pants, decision-making wise. But if you're looking to get a large number of wins, I think you're going to have to make some mistakes along the way. Finding new ways to win is also going to involve making mistakes here and there. Wow. Now that's oh my. It is time to slay. We get a Melter and a Bias Cog in exchange for 2 strikes. That's a big increase to our damage output. 2 very powerful cards that both have good upgrades, too. That's not only going to allow us to do some serious damage early game, it might allow us to take this Burning Elite on, and it will also probably allow us to skip more cards than we otherwise would at this stage of the run. What if I ever shoot for 2 late shops to get a double removal here? We could remove both remaining strikes from the deck before we fight Slime Boss? Is that even a good idea? That would also require not fighting the Burning Elite, and it would require max 2 elites otherwise. Interesting options here. So, pathing considerations. Take our Melter and Bias Cog, fight 2 elites with no fire beforehand. I think this deck can do it now. And then we get 3 rest sites and 2 shops at the end. Rather curious. Before Slime Boss. That's option A. Option B, upgrade here, fight the Burning Elite, potentially fight 2 more elites. Get 3 total elites, but only 2 rest sites for the act and no shop. Or remove 1 elite to gain 1 shop. I don't at all mind leaving our first store until Act 2. That might even be optimal. I think we're well capable of smashing our way through elites with the current cards. Hey there, Jedit. We're definitely going to be picnicking something today when we open up our HelloFresh box later. Melter has very excellent damage for 1 energy, particularly targeted damage. The upgrade to +4 is glorious here. Well, I think either way, we get to take our first couple of combats here and here. Or even here, here, and here. And from there, I can diverge to the fire. Or I can keep going to combats and more elites immediately. So let's actually reach a divergence point before we make any further decisions. I do like delaying decisions where possible in Slay the Spire. Do I biased here? I think so. Dual cast may kill the one attacking me. And if it doesn't, good. It's even better, actually. Beautiful. Oh my. You see, both of the block cards that I would consider adding. Well, that's not both of them. The block cards I would really consider adding, I think at this point, are probably Charge Battery and Equilibrium. But I'll always take an Equilibrium. Hey there, Storm. Building my first PC for myself as a novice is one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done. Even triple-checking what you're doing and following instructions, there's still always something that goes a little unexpected. And if you're not quite sure what to do, it's scary. So don't feel bad about some goofy mistake somewhere that requires hours to sort and fix. I think everybody can relate on some level if they've built a few PCs. Most PC parts only fit the right way, but not all of them. Yeah, sometimes the right way takes more force than you'd expect, too. Especially when it comes to motherboard installs. I've also definitely had that like dread feeling of piecing everything together, flicking the power switch, and seeing that nothing happened. You're like, oh no. What did I do? Where did it all go wrong? Anywho, I'm going to take this Charge Battery. I think it's really nice upfront block. It's going to supplement what we've got nicely. It's got a pretty good upgrade, too, making it around 10. And I like investing in our energy generation a little bit, too. It's kind of an energy card, since it costs 1, but then refunds the cost on the next turn. It can increase the energy efficiency of the deck, so to speak. For the most part, we're going to find that we obliterate these early fights. I do quite like an FTL here in the early game. FTL gives us just a little bit more damage, while ostensibly being a free card, at least for now. And by free card, what I mean is a card that costs 0 and draws 1. In Slay the Spire, those are the requisites, or those are the 2 prices that a card must repay in order to not cost the player anything. Essentially, every card has an energy cost, and every card costs 1 card draw to get into your hand, unless you acquire it some other way, such as via card generation like Dead Branch. What does FTL stand for? Faster Than Light, which is a fantastic 2012 roguelite as well. Highly recommend. Periodically goes on sale on Steam for like $5. One of the first things that we streamed on the channel. Something I should revisit someday. 2012, yes. FTL turns 10 years old this year. And definitely a challenging game, too. But note that FTL is only quote-unquote free if you've already drawn 3 or fewer cards. So if you've got the kind of Defect deck that's trying to draw and play all of the cards multiple times, such as all for 1, FTL quickly becomes no longer as free. But since we're not able to have FTL in our hand, unless we've played, 3 or fewer cards, we can't draw into it because it's our only card draw card, is what I'm trying to say. There's currently no downside to the FTL. We will always draw it in a state where... I can block fully here. We can always draw in a state where it's going to get the bonus on it. Might have some huge help from Melter in this fight. If we draw it at the appropriate time, which would be right now, Melter. Dang it, Melter. There you are. Good work, Melter. Good job. If I hadn't taken the Charge Battery, I would maybe consider a leap here. I think it's also not too early to think about a Cool-Headed, because the Bias Cognition makes 1 Frost Orb so much more valuable block-wise. Hey, there's Zelniak. That was one of my favorite runs that we've done recently. I am going to take this Cool-Headed. So many excited folks. All right, from this position, how do we now feel? Do we want to nab Burning Elite and several more elites? Getting us 3 elites, 2 upgrades. Didn't take a single point of damage yet. Or do we take 2 elites, look for 2 removals and 3 upgrades, but we're down 1 relic and presumably quite a bit of cash that we could have for Act 2. Notably, if we opt for the double shop route, we have a very significant, well, maybe not significant, we significantly increase our odds over the course of this run of acquiring something that can negate the downside of the bias cog, be it orange pellets or clockwork souvenir. And I think as I discuss that, knowing how well we're going to perform in these elite fights immediately, and knowing how useful these shop relics can be, I'm going to opt for 2 shops later this act with the bonus money from the elites here. We should have over 200 gold going into this shop. Or even a core surge, yeah. Exactly. With bias cognition, do we look for ways to get debuff negation? I think yes. And we're much more likely to find that at a shop than anywhere else. Random relics won't provide it. Ooh, oh man, an extra upgrade here. Don't mind if I do. We'll be able to get this biased upgraded pretty soon. Why don't we take the opportunity, given that we're offered a really free early one? Let's upgrade this melter here for an immediate +4 to our best damage card. Given that we're likely going to make this deck rather small and compact, we're going to be drawing this melter up and playing it quite a lot. Other really good consideration here would be an upgrade to Zap or Dual Cast for the energy efficiency. Given that we have big focus, the value of 1 orb is very big. So I really do like the Zap upgrade. Given that we have 2 ways to draw 1 card, I quite like this Zap upgrade. Mr. Unleashed, how does the Defect eat things? They take a bite out of them. So do I want 1 more combat, or do I want an event before our first elite here? I think I'd like the guaranteed additional cash before the shop. We can also take... no, I don't want to take these events later. Although if we wanted to find maybe Dead Adventure or something, we could look here. But I don't think really playing around that in Act 1 is usually worthwhile. Oh, is the event guaranteed to be a combat? Because that's a... Yes, we just had a shrine, so we talked about this. Next event has to then be a combat. My face! No. So, look at that in play. We're doing 14 damage to this slime. 61 minus 14 goes to 51, goes to 47. Splits at 37. So I could even go Cool-Headed Melter here, right? Or no, Cool-Headed Strike, not Melter. That. And we get a very useful potion for the elite fight. That was part of the motivation here in taking an additional combat over taking an event here. Going into an elite fight, you want to have full potion slots if possible, and you'd like to have some more damage cards, and I think a Ball Lightning is glorious here, getting boosted damage from the bias cog, while just being good targeted damage itself. Perhaps not meant to ignore Sweeping Beam here, as the first area damage card being offered to us in a Slime Boss Act. I don't really like Sweeping Beam in general, but begrudgingly admit it could be right here, especially with this Flex Potion. Does draw 1? Okay, you know what? Let's try it. I believe in the power of beaming. This will be a beautiful, beautiful turn. Let's cool-headed first, just to see what we're getting. Oh, biased immediately, even better. So we go biased, Melter gets bonus damage here. Strike. May not even need to use the colorless potion, but we'll use it potentially next turn, I suppose. This egg boy is ruined. Get him, Melter. Pretty good odds I draw a block card here. Oh, but I can't actually play it, though. So, do I colorless potion now? Gonna have lots of opportunities to replenish my points. I think I will. Let's see if we can assist ourselves here. My, Mad Jury, thank you so much for 10 gifted subs. Welcome, everybody, to the Cozy Sub Club. Mad Rury, excuse me. Holy heck. The support. I wants to card draw, though. Ah, there's Charge Battery. Good. Ultimately, not a great use of the potion, I don't think. I'm not going to worry about that, though. Just note that our massive focus plus orb generation is already clobbering everything. Yeah, exactly, because now potions forever. Potions forever. Now, we always get a potion after every fight, essentially giving us leeway to use a potion in every fight. And I love our options here. Thunderstrike's pretty hilarious. Had I taken the Ball Lightning, you could maybe consider it because of upgraded Zap and Ball Lightning. Thunderstrike, an attack that scales with the number of lightning orbs you play. You really have to be generating a fairly specific number of lightning orbs for this card to be good. If you generate too few lightning orbs, Thunderstrike doesn't do any damage and costs too much. If you generate too many lightning orbs, your target is dead and you cannot play Thunderstrike. So you have to generate somewhere in the realm of 5 to 20 lightning orbs for Thunderstrike to be a reasonable card ever. I think Thunderstrike could very reasonably see a big boost to itself somehow. It's certainly awkward as a card at the moment. Sindir says you can also have negative focus and a lot of lightning orb generation. Some kind of reprogram deck, I guess. I could see that. And it is, of course, an amazing Snecko Eye card. I think this Capacitor has real potential here, though, giving us additional orb slots. Very, very valuable. When you already have a big focus booster in Bias Cognition, and then makes picking up more orb generation via Glacier, Electrodynamics, anything like that. Very reasonable. I think I will happily take a Capacitor. Normally not about a Capacitor this early, but I think given how strong the deck is already, and given that we have a White Beast statue, I can absolutely, quote-unquote, get away with it. Flex Potion Melter's only 15 damage. Hey there, Prankster. So we're going to take a hit from this larva. Although it won't be much. We're going to block for 6, so we'll take 2 damage currently. Guess I'll just see what Cool-Headed draws. We should use a potion here. I'm debating Blessing the Forge now versus after Cool-Headed. After Cool-Headed. We don't even need to. Perfect. That would mean Melter's not getting played. Is that okay? That is okay. Give him the old Flexaroonie. That'll teach him. Aha, there's the better AoE card. Although I wouldn't say no to a Cold Snap either. Doom and Gloom does 10 damage to all enemies and channels a Dark Orb. I really appreciate Doom and Gloom as a jack-of-all-trades sort of card, which I think the Defect in particular really appreciates. Defect has so many cards that excel only in specific situations. Along comes Doom and Gloom, a card that is consistent damage, no matter what the situation, because it pairs damage with all enemies to an orb that then does good damage to one target. No matter which fight you're in, Doom and Gloom provides pretty adequate damage per energy, as long as you can eventually evoke that Dark Orb. Good morning, Bite Your Ankle. But I took this Sweeping Beam, dang it. That means I don't need your stinky Doom and Gloom. I'll grab a Cold Snap. I think from here I would take one more Cool-Headed, potentially. An upgrade potion here. I want to draw one more. I don't really want to draw into the bias cog, though, you know? So, is this a capacitor zap sort of situation? I think it's a capacitor bias cog sort of situation, at a minimum. Let's gamble for 4 here. Play the zap. I think I'm gonna need to. Oh, no. If I'm playing capacitor, then the 4 I'm gambling are the other 4. That means gambling melter and zap seems a little unwise. But so does not drawing bias cog this turn, you know? Maybe I save the Gambler's Brew for next turn. Gamble whatever the cards other than biased are. Play something like Charged Battery, Capacitor, Zap. Although I'd be wary of giving the knob a lot of strength by playing multiple skills this turn. But with 4 energy on the next turn. Think of all the things that could happen. So if I play the Charge Battery, he'll attack for 14, and I will block for 7 plus 4. So I'll take 3 this turn. Next turn's a big scary number, but he'll have only 44 health, and I think I can do 44 damage. Especially if I draw the dual cast. And more likely with 4 energy than with 3. Although with 33 incoming is definitely a scary number. Perfect draws there. We also block for quite a bit, thanks to Biased here. But I think I'm going to... Let's see, how much more damage do I need from Biased? Biased takes these to 7 each. So we do 14, 39 minus 14 is 25. That's definitely going to take 3 energy, unless I get dual cast. So we can't play Cool-Headed. That's what I learned. But that looks like a winner, to me. Beautiful, and we can easily get those potions back thanks to the White Beast statue. Now we have a Lantern for more energy on turn 1. I could take yet another Cold Snap. I think that'd be overdoing it. I'd add another Cool-Headed or a Glacier, but another Cold Snap feels unnecessary. Maybe if it said plus on it, but currently this one does not. Barrage fits fine, but again, unnecessary. We're slapping our way through the Spire at the moment, so let's not add cards that will overall bloat the deck, so to speak. Oh my, this is really going well. Lantern, Bag of Prep combo. We have more cards and more energy now on turn 1. Which mostly just seems like it's going to be really OP. Is that a major bag alert? No, this is private bag. He's He's just enlisted. Overclock, huh? I don't think so. Not without a plus on it. I could upgrade it. But I could just upgrade it this cool-headed, and I basically achieve the same thing by adding draw to the deck. I think of Overclock as a draw +1, but then it adds a permanent status. So Overclock ultimately is draw 0 cards in a lot of ways. It really does need the upgrade to be worth playing. I tend to think of this as front-loaded draw. You get draw immediately and sacrifice later. Most worth it on Defect if you're able to set up some kind of permanent, powerful combo, like Core Surge Bias Cog, using that additional draw. Speaking of, let's get this Bias Cognition upgraded to be 5 focus before we go to our first shop. That way, if we find maybe a Dolly's Mirror, we can duplicate it. There are some pretty spicy things here. I do love me Equilibrium. Equilibrium gives you retain for a turn. I think that's really powerful. With a relatively small and or draw-oriented deck, the Abacus can be a beautiful way to get block going. And I think Bag of Preparation helps out Abacus pretty immediately. I think card removals are fantastic here. Blizzard's kind of interesting. We're not there yet. I think if I didn't have Sweeping Beam, I'd be more interested. Note that if I want to upgrade, then I'm going to another store, and I think that ideally means staying above this price threshold so that I can afford the shop relic in the next shop. To that end, just removing a card and moving to the next shop feels the most comfortable for me here. Does Equilibrium work with Establishment from the Watcher? Yes. Yes. All of the cards in your hand are retained using that retain keyword. And that does interact with Establishment, which is pretty cool. Max cost of a shop relic is going to be 165 times 1.05, whatever that is. $173. For the shop relic specifically. Uncommon and rare relics can cost more than that, of course. Those have a base price of $250 and $300 respectively. So max price for a rare relic is base price $300 times 1.1. The Ascension 16 shop price multiplier is $330, and then the maximum variance on that is an additional 5%. So 330 times 1.05 is the max price for a shop relic. Spatula Evolved, thank you so much for the 2 months of keeping it cozy. And it looks like that's 346, maybe 347, depending on how it rounds. Anyway, let's take out one more strike here and go to the next store, because we can still afford the shop relic no matter what. Get this beam up. It's an important one for Slime Boss. Oh boy, sure glad I saved my money so that we could buy the hand drill. Hey there, cross product. No, not anything recent. Back before Spire 1.0, shop relics did used to cost 200 gold. But that was a long time ago. Akabeko. Very intriguing. I also like Buffer here. Akabeko Sweeping Beam does hit pretty hard. That would be 17 damage to all enemies to open the combat. And it's a decent boost regardless. I think Chaos, if we upgrade it, could be a really nice way to fill the orb slots. Same could be said of Tempest. Buffer is very good, but quite expensive here. Hard to justify over a Relic to get an unupgraded card. Simply removing a card is pretty nice here as well. What about Meteor Strike? I can never play it, right? Not yet. don't think I would want to, because we have focus. So plasma orbs, which don't benefit from focus, are a little diminished in their usefulness. Chaos plus, huh? I do like remove plus add chaos here. I haven't had to run in using a chaos in a long time. The Trill Melter combo. I don't even think they work together. I think that's the really sad thing. Unless this changed from the last time I remember it. But Melter specifically removes block, which is different from breaking it, so the hand roll doesn't activate when you play Melter. Something crazy like that. Chaos plus. The re-chaosing. Got through the entire act taking almost no damage, by the way, even though I went 2 elites before the first fire, which is very telling of just how powerful Bias Cog Melter Transform was as a start. I might hold off on the Bias Cog here. Just for a moment. Yeah. Two more lightning orbs, I like it. Uh-oh. Ah! Save me, colorless potion. Apotheosis is nice, not actually helpful immediately. I think the dual cast alone does get us out of this turn, if nothing else. I suppose dramatic entrance would help a little bit with that. Let's take the Apotheosis. And a bad split is fine here. Especially if we're down 3 slimes. Easy. Bias Cog, what are you doing? Help! No! This is unlawful. Unacceptable. And uncouth. No, we're fine, actually. Split. No, they're both splitting when I play Sweeping Beam. Doesn't matter. And very few slime in the deck, thankfully. Overall, not a bad fight at all. Got a Plasma Orb here. These generate energy each turn. Already full blocking. Already have extra energy next turn. Just continue to be able to play slimes in a beautiful way. 14. It's not 14, unfortunately. However, we are full blocking, so let's just do it this way. Seems fine. Does focus affect plasma? No, neither positive nor negative focus affects plasma. This can be both a good thing and a bad thing, depending on what exactly your deck is trying to do. In negative focus decks, plasma is a really useful orb for your orb slots, but in high focus decks like this one, plasma may be a waste of an orb slot compared to a numeric generating orb that could be boosted. Some pretty good rare options here. Meteor Strike, again, rearing its head. We could be able to play it potentially if we get some kind of energy generating or Snecko Eye relic from the boss. Seek is pretty easy, no nonsense. Especially if we end up with a Core Surge or Panacea to go with this Bias Cognition. Upgraded Seek helps us get them both in hand at the same time. Amplify would let us dupe either the bias cog or the capacitor. Those are not bad, but I don't think we have enough draw or card manipulation to make this a reliable use. You really have to be able to make sure you can draw Amplify along your power in order to get good use out of it. Seek is a card that helps with that, so the next Amplify might be more worth taking. Oh ho, and I really like our options here. More energy by means of the Runic Dome is option A, but options B and C are more consistency by means of getting rid of starter cards. Astrolabe says transform and upgrade 3, whereas the Empty Cage says simply remove 2. I think I'm down for transform and upgrade 3, and believe it or not, I'm happy to see these defends go. I think that is what I'm going to remove. We upgraded Zap, so I'll keep it around. Dual Cast is pretty good with the Frost Orbs. 3 double energy incoming, I'll take them happily. Then give me a Skim, and we're good. Skim and a Hologram. And everything else can stay. FTL might eventually become a little sad. But I still think I like it over a Defend here. Oh dear. Look at that. 3 rare cards. Machine Learning Plus, Electrodynamics Plus, and Multicast Plus. Wow. Wowzers. And that's part of the power of Transform, although that seemed extremely unlikely. You know, looking at it, it's about a 1 in 4 chance of a rare card on a Transform. There are 20 or so rare cards out of a 75 card pool, maybe even better than 1 in 4. Which means that 3 rares off of Astrolabe like this is more likely than 1 in 100. 0.25 to the 3rd power. 1.5%-ish. Still pretty unlikely, but not astronomically. Astrolably unlikely. Either way, I'm thrilled with what we got. I quite like Machine Learning, especially with Bag of Prep Lantern, which means we can easily put it into play on turn 1 and then get bonus draw. Hey there, Fayley. Fayley says, what do I have to say about the accusations that I'll be streaming for 12 entire hours? 10 more people use my HelloFresh code. I have to say that these rumors, which may or may not have been started by me, are true. Yes. If we sign up 10 more people using that US only HelloFresh code, which I'll have the goal on screen towards the end of stream here. I'll be doing a 12-hour stream as a thank you, because I think the best reward I can give for people supporting the sponsored content is more unsponsored content. So, 12 hours of that sounds grand. Ray Del Bono, thank you for 28 months. The Real Napster Lives, thank you for the Prime sub. All in sub abort. More stream, more Spire. More elite killing. Oh, we're fighting Collector? Oh, Electrodynamics Multicast says hello, Collector. What this deck most desperately craves at this point is an energy-generating card. The bigger, the better. A Turbo Plus would be grand, but I'll take an Aggregate Plus 2, or even a Double Energy or 3. And then the idea becomes make a big multicast that hits all enemies with Lightning Orbs. And lots of focus. Now, what's the best way to do that, you might ask? Kill birds. That's what I'll say. So it takes 4 hits to knock a bird out of the air. We don't have that, so I'll just play Chaos here. Frostulating. Karamlak, thank you so much for 11 months of support. But I take a Fission right now. Ideally an upgraded one, but Fission or something similar would be very potent at this moment. Wow. Just obliterated. There's another cool-headed. It doesn't say plus on it, but that might not be enough to stop me here. I'll just take this one. I can take an upgrade. I can take an upgraded one if I see it later. I'll just take that one for now. Go Flex Potion over Strength Potion. I think the Energy Potion is very valuable with this multicast. Oh hey, it's that enemy that's shaped like a baseball and is weak to this specific card. GG, nerd. Get melted. Well, now I feel like a fool for taking and upgrading the Sweeping Beam, but would I be better off having 2 of them? Not now that we have Electrodynamics. I don't think we need an additional AoE card. Avox Silence, thank you so much for 19 moons of support. Alcapanek, thank you for 32. Holy heck, almost to 3 years. I think a Ball Lightning is, or any lightning generating card is also worth some consideration too, compared to the Cool-Headed. I do value the Frost more in the long term here. Especially with Collector coming up. Discard the Flex, get the Attack Potion. Nothing here. Okay. So, was this event guaranteed to be combat from way back in Act 1? Is that how that worked? Interesting. Very interesting. This might be my energy potion here, so I can go Electrodynamics, Cold Snap, Defend here. I think that's what's going to happen. Give me the Zip Zaps. The event chance resets, but I don't know if that other correlation follows that rule or not. I have no idea how I would even test that. Actually, just ask somebody who does. You said the max price for Shop Relic was $173? I can afford a removal if I go to the shop, or we can opt for an upgrade before that first elite. I think getting Seek upgraded before I try to potentially fight the Burning Elite is a good idea, so perhaps going this way is correct. I've got my eyes on the Burning Elite with how we're doing. Let's go this way. Uh-oh. I regret going this way. Immediately. I think I want Cool-Headed. I'll also be using an attack potion here. Wonderful. In that case, give me charge battery. A little bit here. And then commence the Zappener. Thanks to the bonus energy we had. Double Fear Potion, not my ideal, but perhaps doable. Do I expect additional content for Spire in the future? Not from the devs. I think they're working... I do expect additional content from the Spire developers in the future, but it won't be related to this game. It'll be a new game and content for that game. Whatever that might be, I'm looking forward to its eventual announcement. Spire itself, of course, will still see attention from the modding community, which I'm hoping will continue to churn out content, even if it's slow form content over years and years. It's people who are interested enter the community. But Weenus, thank you so much for 8 months of support. I'm not taking any of this, not even that beam cell. Oh dear. It's zip zapped. play the beam. Leave the Seek for now. Seek the one card I don't want to draw next turn, which is Melter. A single target card. Poke 4 times, that's 8 times 4. 32. Sad cawing noises. So, somebody asked me, would I take a Fission in this deck? And I think the answer I gave was, can I upgrade it? The answer is, there's literally a fire next floor. Vision says, 0 cost, remove or upgraded, evoke all your orbs, gain an energy, and draw 1 card for each orb evoked. This deck generates a lot of orbs, and has a big energy spender, too. I'll be taking that. I'll also be taking this Essence of Darkness, which is hilarious fuel for the Fission, letting me fill all my orb slots. And I'll be upgrading that Fission first. Although I think the Seek upgrade, there could be an argument for upgrading it over Fission. Let's get the Fission immediately upgraded so that we can actually use the focus boosted orbs for both the draw and the energy at the same time. Let's see what this draws first. Alright, get Electro in play turn 1. Sounds good to me. Machine Learning down also. Not much point in multicasting for only 1 evoke, when I could just keep the orb instead. So here I can draw more orbs by evoking these ones. Replenish with a Dark and a Lightning. Make more orb slots. Fill those orb slots even more. 2 plasmas, oh my goodness. I like it. With multicast? Sure. Then put the lightning... Oh no! Never mind. I wanted to have like a 6 energy multi-hit multicast. And you ruined it! Wait, or did you? I think this is still fine. This is definitely fine. Easy. Multicast. Napalm Shimmer, thank you so much for 11 months. I'm doing fantastic today. Saint, thank you for 19 months of keeping it cozy. This is a powerful, powerful robot run we're on right now. Give me some health. Give me none of these unupgraded commons, although there's maybe an argument for Rebound, especially with these many cool-headeds. Rebound allows us to essentially double down on any one card in the deck, kind of like a hologram does. That's worth thinking about. That's really, especially with multicast in the deck, I'm going to take that, actually. I think that that kind of card manipulation is really effective. Meanwhile, intangibility, I don't think so. I think we're already generating so much block so consistently that we don't need to lose half our max HP. That said, this is a really good highlight moment of why don't drink the fruit juice immediately, and here's one such of many examples. Because Apparition event takes half your max health. That way, if you drink the fruit juice first and then take the apparitions, you'll have less health than if you take the apparitions and drink the fruit juice afterwards. But I will refuse and then drink the fruit juice. Although this could be a toy ornithopter. It's not. It's a letter opener, which I will definitely take. 5 additional area damage whenever I play 3 skills in the same turn. Begin the lightning. This capacitor needs an upgrade now, too. Hello, yes. Give me fission, please. That was fun. Oh, hologram, and it says plus on it. That also lets us play the best card in the deck twice. We can even rebound that hologram if we want to sometimes. Very happy with the hologram. What's the right play here? I think this is cool-headed, seek for fission, then electrodynamics, multicast. Although this lightning orb won't hit them all if I play fission before electro. Well, regardless, let's see what both cool-headeds draw. Sweeping beam and dual cast. Okay. I could also go electrodynamics, then fission. But then I don't have a lightning orb to multi or dual cast, is the problem. Oh, I could use the darkness potion. Would have been an interesting option with the fission as well. Hadn't thought of that. I'd like that. Fission first. Get a hologram. So if I go electrodynamics, then multicast, how much damage will that be? On its own. Actually, no, it would be better to go dual cast and then multicast. We do 16 to all from the first one, then we have 24 to all from the next one, plus 5 from letter opener. That just kills them all. Beautiful. Valor Desert Fox says, if you drink the fruit juice while being in the apparition event, does the cost change? The text on the button on the event won't change, but I believe the amount of health that you lose after clicking would be different. You would lose your updated half of your max health when you click the button. That's my understanding of it. Alright, that rebound ends up upgraded. Skip the Fear Potion here. We absolutely that was Super Slavers? I did not even notice. Wow. They just died. It was turn 1. I killed them all in turn 1. Oh dear. What a way to go. What a way to go. Rawolo, did you hear that someone's writing a sequel to the Book of Stabbing? It's called the Tome of Blunt Force Trauma. Do I want to rebound this zap and draw it again? Kind of. And then I'll take one hit so that I can get the machine learning down. Maybe should have used the colorless potion there. I did not feel the need. To be entirely honest. Get some block there, good. You can dual cast that for more energy, depending on what this draws. Yeah. Great turn. The Book of Bonk. So chaos. And now multicast. Yeah, that just kills. Beautiful. Now we are a boat thingy. 14 block on turn 2, my favorite turn to be given block. Baalorlord, thank you so much for 21 moons. of support. Do we take second capacitor? We've had first capacitor, yes, but what about second capacitor? Feels like we really want an energy generating card and or a heat sinks to make that shine. Without the free upgrade on it, I don't think I'm sold right now. I don't even have an upgrade on the one that I do like. Hey there, Atlantiza. I have a degree, a bachelor's degree in chemistry, which I went on to use for a few years working at universities and colleges in my area. But chemistry was my degree and my primary field of study. I really liked understanding the kind of primordial interactions of basic matter. What's the Book of Stabbing's favorite film? The Shank Redemption. I like that. Ooh. Do I? Oh, wait. Hold on. We have multiple options here. I didn't even see the bottle lightning at first. We can bottle our Seek here. That is certainly a thing. Seek on turn 1 is guaranteed. Just set up whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. Every single combat. Something that I also genuinely really like here, the Frozen Eye, especially with so many draw 1 cards in the deck. Knowing exactly what's on top and what I'm going to draw into can really help here. Unless your name, Leonardville, is Professor Utonium, I do not recommend handling Chemical X yourself. It's nasty stuff. I do like this turbo, though. And I like it enough that I would be willing to pay for it. Kind of down for turbo plus Frozen Eye. I'm gonna do it. That's my chosen line. Shame I can't afford a removal alongside. But that is, in fact, my choice. What Frozen Eye ultimately lets us do is determine when we should play card draw cards and for how many of them we should play in order to set up powerful combos for ourselves that we might want. We can even set up future hands. For example, if I want to draw Seek next turn, I need to draw at least 1 card on this turn. Although machine learning is also going to help. This gets put in play. Dual Cast is a really good damage card right now. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. FTL draws into Turbo. Top card is then Ascender's Bane. I can Seek, like, Hologram plus Fission, use Hologram to get the bias down. Play the Fission then. Or I could just play Biased right now. And do explosive things next turn. With lots of energy. Go that way, I suppose. Yes, we'll Seek Electro plus Fission. That way we don't have to worry about getting biased down at all. Let's have one really big turn. I can cast out of my hand, though. Blap, blap, blap. Rebound is beautiful here. Let's go Zap in front. 2 more random from Chaos, which gives me Plasma. Oh boy. Okay, I see something interesting happening. Rebound the Hologram. Take the Chaos again. Play it again. Play Melter. I think immediate bias cognition was a pretty good idea, ultimately. So. That is. How do I Evoke a lightning orb enough times for me to like what I see here. Dual cast, hologram dual cast. That's a reasonable option, but then I don't get to multicast the plasma orb. Cool-headed, multicast, hologram the multicast, dual cast the frost orb, multicast the lightning orb. That's the way to do it. That is definitely the way to do it. So we go cool-headed, generate lots of energy here with multicast. Multicasting a plasma orb is essentially like playing a double energy card. Get back that multicast. Make sure this frost orb is no longer in front. And now we can play multicast to evoke for 11 times 11. That's a lot of damage. And now we have Frozen Eye powers again. Wish. Basically already won the fight. Never realized multicast didn't exhaust. Easy to forget since Tempest does. Top card is Zap. I can get to that if I hologram FTL here. It's cool-headed. You wanted to read on that, but I'll just play Chaos. We are the collectors, apparently. Quaint. Notice that we were kind of running out of fuel there towards the end. This is definitely a deck that does a lot very quickly and then starts to peter out. One of the better ways that we can extend that is by gaining more permanent focus, gaining more one-time orb generation. Sport one-time stuff in general can help too. Do I go with a second biased? Or do I take Rainbow or Buffer here? I think second biased is a reasonable idea. A lot of the ways that we could get Artifact could apply multiple artifacts. If we're able to have one big explosive turn, then the downside of multiple biased is not really a downside. We can just gain 10 focus on one turn and then win on that turn. There's no longer any need to go to turn 2. I'll take a second bias. I think the Buffer also could be very good here. And, yeah, I'm going to take a Pyramid here. For surezies. For surezies. Other options are not bad, for the record. But... So, Curse Key gives us more base energy. That's great. Cursing us when we open a chest, which we do have to do. Or the Black Star making relics. Additional relics drop from each elite. Also pretty good. But I think I much vastly prefer the guaranteed retain of Pyramid here. Not only do we have a 7-card turn 1, we've got lots of draw effects. Pyramid allowing us to keep everything means we can line up Turbo multicast a lot better. We just use Turbo more efficiently in general. Does Frozen Eye devalue the Pyramid? I think a little bit, yes. But that's okay. Hey everyone. Did you know that you can now support me directly on YouTube by getting a channel membership? For as low as $5 a month, you'll get access to perks like custom badges and emojis to use in comments and discounts on the merch store, all while helping support me and this channel to do what I love every day. Just click the join button below to get started. Now back to the video. I think together they're stronger than either are independently, but I do think there's some overlap in function, so to speak. I think as long as we do have enough money to buy a shop relic or a panacea, we should continue to look at the contents of stores, even if we don't necessarily purchase anything. Upon further review, I find a line I really like through the act here. Hit an early store, and then we get to go elite, fire, elite, chest, fire, elite, fire. Lots of upgrades in Act 3, something I don't always get. I would really like to upgrade these cool-headeds, I would really like to upgrade this capacitor, and I would also like to upgrade our other biased. So many upgrades this act sounds excellent to me. Can't go to this shop if I want to fight this elite and get on that path, although we could go fire elite question mark instead of elite fire elite, or even question mark over fire, but I don't know that I like that. My Dog says, if you use mods, does that disable achievements? Yes. However, there is a mod you can use to enable achievements. So if you want to play modded with achievements, simply download the Achievement Enabler mod. It is that simple. Oh, and I know what I'm drawing too, that's right. Just go biased Fission. Fission draws biased multicast defend. Electro and Seek are both down much lower. Well noted. I should play this so that I can draw 6. Play this so that I can draw 6, and then actually draw Electro next turn. Even better. I have to have max of 4 cards retained in order to gain the bonus draw from the machine learning. That actually could have been a reason to avoid the pyramid here. But I think this deck performs just way too well. With the pyramid. Yes, mods will continue to keep track of your Ascension level. If you use modded characters, they will each track their Ascension level separately of your main characters. How about a stack plus here? I actually rather like that with Pyramid. This can be a reasonably capable block card. And one that I'll choose to include here. Lose Zap, lose Machine Learning, or lose Cold Snap. Interesting. I do like that Machine Learning, believe it or not. I guess I'll lose my Cold Snap here. That's fine. We have 2 Cool Headeds. I'm going to upgrade them both. I think that'll be just fine. We can use the Rebound and the Hologram as necessary to get more Frost in play. However, that doesn't really help me on this turn now, does it? 3 attacks headed my way. Whatever do I do? I think I use the Colorless Potions, what I do. No attacks in hand, draw 2. Perfect. So if I Hologram Melter, this one dies. The cast doesn't hit them all at the moment. I can also Hologram the card draw card to draw Cool-Headed Defend here. Cool-Headed then draws Chaos. Can't play biased Cool-Headed very easily. Steam Workshop is the best way to get mods on Slay the Spire. I think the Nexus is from before Steam Workshop was added, at least originally. But Steam Workshop's definitely the way to go. There are some mods that aren't on the Workshop that are pretty good. Such as OJB's Better Paths mod. That's hosted on some file host somewhere or something. GitHub, that's it. GitHub, excuse me. Those are different things. Anywhom, begin the murdering. If I only needed, like, FTL there or something. Oh well. Take a little bit of damage, I suppose. 7 is very reasonable. Unsure about Skim at this moment. Handclog is real, currently. Feels like we need another energy generator before the Skim is good. Plus, I am going to upgrade these Cool-Headeds. Let's just look for energy generators at the moment. Rather than more card draw. Although, if I were to take card draw, Heat Sinks would be a very good way to get it. Something like Recycle would be beautiful. How about Madness? Is that an energy generator? Only if I'm looking to replay the same cards over and over again. Rebound and Hologram do speak to that somewhat. Zero cost Cool-Headed would be a huge deal, actually. Interesting. That's very interesting. I like it with Pyramid, I think. Can't also remove a card. Though. And I would remove... Hey there, I'm really that guy. Believe it or not, I have, I think like 1,500 hours in Path of Exile from a long time ago. 2016 or earlier. One of the first videos I made on YouTube was a build guide in Path of Exile. Built around the Whispering Ice Staff. And I think to this day that is my most viewed YouTube video. That is not more hours than I have on Slay the Spire. I have over 5,000 hours in Spire at this point. By far my most played game ever. I really enjoyed Path of Exile for quite a while. I think it's gotten a little bloated and overcomplicated these days. But as a free-to-play ARPG, it's a really good experience. How many hours do I have in Monster Train? Just a couple hundred. I think we're closing in on 500. I'm still thinking about this madness. I'm really tempted. It's interesting. There's a lot of odd things that madness can do. We'll buy it. I've got to know. Do I also take a heat sinks? Definitely. Double ore blockers. These guys are really spicy. You have to be willing to invest potions to beat these two. I think we can do it. I think we have what it takes for this fight. Let's see here. Vision is immediately draw 3. I can go Sweeping Beam, Cool-Headed to get to the heat sinks. Heat sinks, Machine Learning. Electro. So I do draw the Biased. Okay. Okay. So we'll do as follows then. Could even rebound the Sweeping Beam. That'd be kind of fun. I think I've got the extra energy I should. This would do 26 plus a lot. Yes. Dead. Beautiful. Beautiful turn 1. Get ourselves a regen potion to heal back up to full. Very nice. Prayer Wheel will offer us more card rewards from regular combats. Although I'm not planning on taking very many of those. Upgraded Static Discharge. Very interesting. That could be a nice late game solution. Although I'm not sure if its inclusion here bears any merit. Interesting choice. I like it in theory with the heatsinks. A little worried about the Awoken one at the moment. Especially since we have no permanent way to gain focus off these biased cogs. Therefore, I don't want to add too many powers. Certainly an upper and a lower limit somewhere, though. So we don't want Madness to make Electro free, since that's a card that we only get to use one time. Likewise, Unbiased. I think we should play it now? Maybe even guaranteed make this Cool-Headed free? That sounds like a good idea. free now, cool-headed. Be free! Keep this around? I think I do. Ideally, we get a big dark orb for the giant head here. That would require chaos happening. Oh, give me the chaos then. I'll even rebound it. Okay. Not necessarily opposed to this idea. I want to generate the orb after I use fission, though, right? Interesting. Currently stack is as good as it's going to get. I suppose this would be a good time to play one biased here, which will shuffle the draw pile. So we go charge battery, stack, bias plus. And then we'll even zap for the letter of better value. Get a little creative here. No idea if this is going to go over well. Only one way to find out. Here, I'll actually seek this turbo so I don't lose one energy. Or seek the void, excuse me. So it theoretically allows me to rebound here. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Plasma orb in front, dark orb behind. Now all we need to do is stall for a little time. Make the dark orb big, and then multicast it for very big damage. Which I think is right now, because I can go turbo. Multicast gets me to 16 energy. We hologram that multicast. Actually, sorry, 18 energy, because it was +1. And then this is 18 times 20. 360. That was only one turn of charging the Dark Orb. Mummy Hand is absurd. Especially after I pick up a Heatsinks. Now whenever we play a power, something in hand becomes free. Something in Mummy Hand becomes free. If I want my Cold Snap back, I could take it here, but I think we can just cycle these Cool-Headeds enough. Probably fine. Mayatog says, outside of boss relics, do you ever skip a relic? Yes. Ninja Scroll is the one I can think of that I most often end up skipping, because Ninja Scroll takes up 3 of your cards on turn 1, and if you already have 7 or more cards in hand from your other relics, you're gonna have to... You can't get all of the cards at that point, and so the Ninja Scroll has priority and costs you cards you might have wanted. Tiny Chest and Juzu Bracelet can also be worth skipping if you want different outcomes from your event rooms. For example, you don't want your event rooms to become treasures if you're a feed-heavy deck because you want combats instead. Likewise, Juzu Bracelet doesn't want to take... a feed deck does not want to take a Juzu Bracelet because you want to be able to eat things, and that requires combats. I was supposed to drink the regen potion at some point during this fight. That's okay. We'll skip all that, and we'll start upgrading. I guess this now, with Mummy Hands. Bottled Flame is the other big one, because there's often not any given attack that you care to have on turn 1. The Madness is free. Interesting. So my understanding is that Madness will either hit Rebound or Chaos here, but it can't hit the hologram. And I suppose I'm okay with that, too. I can Rebound it? Sure. Biased on top. Hold that multicast for the moment. Charge batteries on top, so let's go beam. Draw the battery, play the battery. Position Dark Orb in front to be multicasted. Let's see here. Again, was probably supposed to use the regen potion. Oh well. Too late now. You're dead, lady. More energy generation. Claw is here. Second Electro's here, too. I appreciated Queen of Bithynia. Regardless of how well-intentioned such conversations start, they can quickly become a dog pile of negativity towards somebody else very quickly, and there's, quite frankly, no need. So it's easier to cut it off at the pass by simply saying, this is not a chat room to discuss any live stream other than this one, the one that's going on right now. Okay, we'll just keep the... Actually, we'll swap the explosive pot for the colorless pot, given how easily Reptomancer was defeated. And we'll continue along this path. Gotta take the blue key. Don't mind losing the strawberry too much. I do like max health a lot, but not that much, you know? Get capacitor upgraded finally. Giant head. More like giant head. So, please show me. One cool-headed, please. Take a little bit of damage here. Can't draw that. Actually, rebounding it put it into the draw pile, which made the stack worse hilariously. Oh well, I'll do it this way. Play everything else, and then stack is better block. Sound like a really big turn. Why not? Why the heck not? You know? Could multicast. Again, I think that's better suited to a Dark Orb if we can get our hands on one. There's a couple. We found some. Great Frog, thank you so much for 6 months. Of support. Wait, what got Madness? Oh, the rebounded. That's right. Give me plasma. Close enough. Turbo multicast should be plenty. We actually just want to stall for a turn or two here so that our regeneration potion can finish doing its thing. Dead Branch is an interesting one. I think a well-balanced deck will almost always want to add Dead Branch to it, but there's definitely a lot of deck structures that can be significantly punished by the Dead Branch. How do I block? Got 14, that means I need to make up 20 odd. I can do that. 26. Oops, that's on the block card. Well, net 0. Call it a win. There's the Ornithopter, now healing us 5 every time we use a potion. Upgraded algorithm's kind of entertaining, but what about a second copy of Vision? Now that's entertaining. Vision problem is wants an upgrade, so does everything else. It's not too late for an algorithm, but it's definitely a little late. It starts at 1 and goes up by 3 per combat, so 4, 7, 10, 13 going into the Spire Spear and Spire Shield fight. Probably not worth it. Skip this Vision. And we need to recall. I'll be upgrading one of the Cool-Headed next. That'll be my intended Madness target. Actually quite like the Potion of Capacity, too. It's a good find. Next on top. Got it. Okay. Just gonna stay free. Guess I'll play this to get it out of my hand, too. The Dirty 30. How rude. Interesting. Let's see, for hologram what? Chaos? No, seek for... Party of heat sinks in play? I do. Seek for capacitor and hologram. Play with int. And... SR Garth, Senior Garth? Either way, thank you so much both for the Prime sub. Welcome the two of you to the QZ Sub Club. Alright, hold on. What's the ridiculous play here? We've got something stupid we can do next turn. I think it's the following. Multicast. Hologram the multicast. Multicast again. We're supposed to rebound that. Okay, we'll just draw back into it. Now we cool-headed. We shuffle the deck. Where's multicast? Right on top. Perfect. Good. Focus. Rebound, what? Zap? Well, focus. More energy. Instincts. Evoke them all again. Summon a lightning orb. Evoke this 34 times. That would kill anybody. GG. A duplication potion can let us do something like that 2 times. A dedicated plasma generator. I could get behind that. Welcome. Welcome. That way we don't have to rely on chaos necessarily. I think these potions are very, very good. Let's just take one event now before the final battle. I said I think these potions are good. Now. And we'll upgrade one of the cool-headeds for a bit more card draw. Alright, first up is the Awakened one. Notably, I don't actually have a way at this point to retain any focus from the bias cogs. We're all about the burst. And that's okay. How are we going to make it work? I think we're going to have a really big explosive multicast that kills everybody, and I'm going to have to do that 2 times. I think that's what. Does Seek shuffle the draw pile? No. No, so anything that pulls something from the draw pile, even cards that say, quote-unquote, shuffle a status card or shuffle a card into your draw pile, what that actually means in Spire terminology is insert such card into a random location in your draw pile, but keep all of the other cards in their exact order. So, for example, if I was Ironclad and I were to play a Wild Strike, then a wound could appear between Fission and FTL in the draw pile, but all of the other cards would stay where they are. Seek is just going to pull the cards from wherever they are in their location in the deck. Malarkey, thank you so much for that gifted sub and for almost kicking off that hype train there. Let's see. So, what's our play here? Next turn, upcoming on top, here's the draw order. Turbo first, then Chaos. Currently have no draw in this hand, just Seek. I rather like the idea of seeking the Cool-Headed Plus so that I can get Madness down onto it right now. I'm going to do that. Seek Cool-Headed Plus, and let's go with Hologram, actually. And that way I don't care which of those two gets hit. Either would be an amazing, amazing Madness card. That does mean I need to play Machine Learning here, I think. Defend got made free. Rebound Zap? I don't think so. Hologram is the winner. Good. You won a lifetime supply of free holograms. So we need to bust through the first phase pretty quickly here. Do I biased right now? I think I'm gonna have to. Play Chaos. We do get a Dark Orb. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we're gonna aim to kill with that Dark Orb. Using multicast and a lot of energy. And I'm going to aim not to get killed by birds before that happens. We do have the first 12x4 multi-hit coming our way here. Fortunately, stack is not useful at this time. This could be where I go all out. I would give the enemy a lot of strength this turn, though, if I were to go, like, Heatsinks Bias Cog Capacitor. Seems like a bad idea, unless I'm killing. And I would need a lot of energy to kill. With no Plasma to multicast, that's not happening this turn. Tough stuff. Maple Manatee, thank you for 10 moons of support. Other option I have here is use multicast to block this turn. But that loses the Dark Orb. Might be okay with that. Yeah, I think I am okay with that, actually. Well... Other ways to block that don't... I'd have to draw cards. Only way to do that realistically is with Heatsinks. So that would involve playing a lot of powers this turn. Not a great idea. Okay, so multicast block seems like the most viable option then. We're going to be losing focus though, which is really problematic. Only I had a recycle here. And by 5s from 5. Maybe wanted to rebound the multi, but I think I'd rather rebound Chaos when I get my hands on it. And I think we need to go now. To play more cards now. Heatsinks and Capacitor and such. This could be really bad. Two more draws to get to Chaos Plus. Turn. This is very scary. Overall. Shit, I can't play any more words. Seems tough. Multi-bottom deck is my fault. I certainly could have had that in my hand when I reshuffled here. So what we have to do is multicast this Dark Orb big time. Probably next turn. Draw 7 cards. There are 4 orb-generating cards in my hand, so I really don't see how that's possible. I guess over multiple turns it is. Bending soft block. No, we would definitely die. Awakened One's got more than enough strength. Another option is like turbo into biased cog. Dual cast the plasma? Dual casting the plasma is an acceptable option next turn also, I think. What I want to be able to do is multicast our Plasma Orb and then hologram it back to use on the Dark Orb, or rebound it. Either is an option. That way I want both this Plasma and the Dark Orb in the same turn. But we might not be able to allow to do that. Maybe just playing the Cool-Headed is correct. I think this is what I want to do. A little bit here. We have to kill on this turn, now. And then next turn is pretty spooky too. But I'll at least have 4 focus next turn. So we dual cast. Plus turbo. I have to draw 3 to get my multicast. I also have to get the Dark Orb in front, which is easier said than done. And may take many of my energies. A little bit worrisome. Cool-Headed gets us there. Cool-Headed Zap Chaos. Turbo, Hollow, Turbo. That won't kill though, will it? I don't think so. Not without the duplication potion, it won't. That'd be an acceptable use of the dupe pot though. Although no, because you can't multicast the same orb 2 times. It has to be a different orb. Problematic. That's how I would describe the situation. Duplicating Turbo could work. Might also be able to block and wait 1 more turn. 16x4 is probably numbers. I don't like it. So Turbo Hollow Turbo brings us to 10 energy. Chaos, Zap, and then multicast is essentially for 10. Which will not kill, not quite. Bias Cog doesn't make a difference. Let's see what this makes. 2 more Frost, how intriguing. I do not think it is a good idea to wait. So 16x4 is only what, 64? We are currently blocking for 27. 32 with hologram. So I just need another 30 or so block. This is 24. So turbo multicast, hologram multicast works. I can even play fusion. Okay, that's got to be the play then. Wait. So it goes multicast first. Turbo. Fusion. Charge battery. Hologram, the multicast. Take a little bit here. We're running out of time. Multicast is only 180 now. It's not good. Uh-oh. Dupe multicast doesn't get there, because just as a reminder, what duplicating multicast does will evoke the Dark Orb 6 times and then evoke the Frost Orb 6 times. Not the Dark Orb 12 times, as we would want. This is, I think, where recursion would be, yeah, very helpful. Very helpful indeed. So either I try to wait one more turn, or what? I don't think there is an or. I think I just have to. But like, charge battery, hologram charge battery helps me block as well as generate more energy this turn. Okay. We'll rebound the hologram, I suppose. Next turn I draw 3. 1, 2, 3. All of these get rid of my orbs? Not this one, though. So play Bias Cog next turn? That's relatively reasonable. Or we could even play it 2 turns from now. If we multicast now, 36 times 7, that should be a KO, right? Math. No, that's not a kill. 252. That is a kill. Okay, yes. 36 times 7 kills. And then Turbo Fusion are on top of the draw pile. We can play Bias Cog next turn without giving them any strength. We'll go back up to +2 focus, which is not a lot. We'll have to finish the fight with that. Or I could duplicate it, but we'll be losing 2 per turn. That's pretty spooky. I think we'd be better off duplicating something else. Is there anything else meaningful I can make this turn do? I don't think so. Good luck to me, then. I guess I could play the Zap. There's no real reason not to. Alright, the big 5-0 is here. It is spooky. Fusion, then Chaos seems like the proper order of things. And I can push those forward with Electrodynamics if I need to. Bias first, though. I'm going to draw 2 when I play the Biased, so I want to make sure I can actually do that. I guess I'll just play Turbo. And then I can make Cool-Headed only draw 1, so that the stack is meaningful block here. It's a good choice. Lots of Plasma is pretty encouraging here. At the moment, Lightning Orbs are more damage if multi-evoked than Dark Orbs are. Let's think about this for a second. Let's try to get a lot of energy next turn, why don't we? Let's get rid of a Void. Already full blocking, do some damage. Put that to 9. The cast is here. In a big way, too. So, I think our goal then is to have one really big high energy turn. By FTL, gaining us in energy, putting us to 7 here. Now, we multicast, going to 16 energy. I think that's the next step. We'll be hologramming that momentarily. Electro pushes this plasma orb to the front and draws 2 more cards, Chaos and Fusion. I'd like to draw 1 more as well. So let's just dual cast that one. Oh, I understand what I've done. Yeah, that's okay. Cool-headed here. Turbo. Zap. Rebound this multicast. Double our energy yet again. And put the multicast on top. And then we get to do whatever 8 times 38 is. Which is lots. With no focus to spare, that was a spooky fight. But I'm glad we made it through it without losing any potions, no less. And that's right, we could have duplication potioned that for twice as much spice. GG. Blap, blap, blap. That's our same plan. We'll work on Time Eater if we encounter them, which we totally just did. Greetings, Time Eater. They didn't believe. At least not at first. But now they know. Now they know. Okay, we need to get some stuff happening here. Oh wait, no! Have to play this for the card draw? I do. I accept. Should be a pretty short fight overall anyway. But play them both on this turn. That I doubt. .32 damage incoming. It's like a rebound multicast sort of moment. Feels right. Can't get a plasma in front, at least not yet. Chaos. Charge batteries for life. I should have figured out what Chaos was going to make first. Good, we got our Dark Orb. All we have to do is let that thing embiggen just a little bit, and then play many energies worth of stuff. Redual cast. Frost. More frost! Oh crap. Ow. So next turn this will be 39 times whatever X is, and I can make X into a pretty big number here. Especially if I charge battery on this turn. Could also multicast now to prevent Time Eater from attacking me next turn, but I think if we just make a big enough orb, we can do 39 times 7? Hold on. You do 39 by 10 or so. I can rebound the turbo, though. Next turn. That'll work. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Won't draw the rebounds. Wait, now I'm drawing 4. But I can seek for the rebounds. Yeah, that'll work. We have a base of 5 energy. Turbo takes us to... Wait, we have to rebound the turbo. So we go FTL. Rebound. Turbo. Seek. Turbo. Death. GG. Two thump, a deep pulsing dread can be felt throughout the room. Is this the heart of the spire, the source of this beating evil? In the center. No more Tim Eater for us. Tempting to take a heal here as we're below max health, but I think Taurian Orthopter will have us covered. Let's upgrade our other bias for just a little bit more focus, please. No orange pellets, however, Chemical X is certainly tempting. This multicast-oriented deck getting X plus 2 on the one card I'm playing over and over again. That's pretty cool, actually. Bronze scales would be nice. Card removal would be nice. I'm taking the Chemex, though. Warning, do not combine with sugar, spice, and everything nice. It's too powerful. Well, that's certainly a set of draws on turn 1. Looks like we'll be playing Fission next turn. This turn's just going to be cool-headed bias to block. Play Machine Learning Capacitor also. Keep the Melter for next turn. If Madness is played right now, does it guarantee a free Melter? Let's find out. Yes. Neat. Looking at my draw pile... I draw 6. Get to find Seek and Multicast. Oh, I know. Okay, so we go... Turbo will melt you. Oh, Fission. Did draw one less that way. I need to draw 2 more to get to Seek. Gonna have to be like Hollow, Sweeping Beam, Hologram Sweeping Beam? That'll work. The FTL doesn't draw a card right now. Then I wanted Seek. Let's get Multicast, Cool-Headed. Rebound the Multicast. Give me a random orb. Yes, good. And Multicast. Beautiful. Easy peasy. Dex Potion, no thanks. I'll keep these potions for the hard fight. Let's go. Alright, here's a real challenge, because the heart can only take 200 damage in 1 turn, and so we can only... We can only multicast for 200 damage at a time. which we need to do a bunch of times rather than just once. We kind of had a preview of what that'll look like against the Awakened one. But here we'll be putting it to practice. Definitely going to want to Madness one of these Cool-Headeds if possible. Unfortunately, Heatsinks is pretty low down, but Seek is not, so we can get Seek Heatsinks. For example, I may want to duplicate one of these Biased. 3 Biased is, well, that's a tough sell, but I think we can make it work. Right now I just need to get cards out of my hand. Here's where I'd end up dying by 2 health again. Not there for the moment. So this attack is a problem. We've no way to purge debuffs or anything. Our best bet is to gain a lot of focus and put some Frost Orbs in play, which does mean I like the idea of duplicating the Bias Cog, seeking for Heatsinks and Fission here. Especially with Void coming up, we're going to need that Fission. And then we have one more Bias Cognition to kind of like keep ourselves going, but we're going to have to be very explosive with our play here. That made Electro free, which is huge, given that I plan on... Well, yeah, that's huge. Let's draw 1 card right now. And that's the Void. Ooh. Good luck. Rebound is free. I'm okay with that. Rebound the Cool-Headed. Hologram the Cool-Headed. So even though I have only 2 frost-generating cards in the deck, I was able to just generate 3 Frost Orbs in a row here. Thanks to the power of Rebound. Let's go. Turbo. Yes. Perfect. Plasma, then Dark. That's perfect. Do I keep the multicast in hand, or do I play it for the full block here? I think I'm going to play it. We do lose 2 focus each turn, which is deeply problematic. Just really, really bad. Or is it? I'd like to do 200 damage this turn if I can. I need to draw a lot of cards for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, realistically. And I see that I can do that if I play both powers, so I guess I will. That X+2. So 22 times 15 currently. We don't need that much, so I can play other stuff. Good. No kill like overkill. But now we're losing 3 focus per turn. So problems are happening. Let it. Fill these orb slots with something, anything. Anything at all, please. Next turn's going to be the toughest one because we're going to have relatively little focus, only 4 points of focus next turn, and a lot of explaining to do. Okay, next 6 cards are Rebound, Zap, Stack, Multicast, Turbo. I'd like to just multicast that Dark Orb. It's already a 41 damage Dark Orb. And I've got Fusion Chaos in the discard pile. Let's start with Cool-Headed. Take a little bit of Beat of Death damage here. Let's go Cool-Headed. Just Rebound, Multicast. That way I can probably block with a Frost Orb next turn. Making sure the heart gets to low health. And I will play this, although it will hurt. Make sure I can draw one more card next turn. So 4x15, if we can block with this, or even just kill on this turn, we win. And I think I see a lot of different ways to achieve either means. The Stack and Cool-Headed are the top 2 cards. My ability to draw stuff is pretty limited here. Looks like surviving might be our line then. I don't see an easy way to kill the heart. In fact, the only way to get a Frost Orb in front is to dual cast here, but we get 9x. Incoming damage 16, so 9x7 is all we need, which means I only need to play multicast with 4 real energy. Alternately, can I just kill? What if I turbo, hologram, turbo, multicast? That would be 8 energy down to 7, 10 energy, which means 13 times 12 damage. 156 plus 7 plus 5? 168. That sounds like a kill to me. GG. So multicast is X plus 1 plus 2 more. 12 times 13. Just reevaluate that. 12 by 13. 156 plus 7. We're there. GG. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful run. With a great fight to end it off. GG. Hey there. If you enjoyed that video, watch this one next. And before you go, join us on Twitch and watch live. I'm there 5 days a week playing Slay the Spire, answering questions, and chilling with the community. Click the link in the description to follow right now. Ta-ta for now.